There's no way to crack the impenetrable watch industry. Just take a look at what has been happening in different parts of the world during the past 3 years. The crisis in Ukraine, China's rigorous lockdowns, inflation, collapsing stock markets, and the collapse of cryptocurrencies have all failed to dampen the export of watches. In fact, their value increased by almost 13% from January and May of this year compared to 2021, which was a record-breaking year for the industry as a whole. There have been a few hiccups along the way, but generally speaking, things have gone quite well. However, Swiss watchmakers are becoming increasingly anxious as time passes, because contrary to appearances, everything is not what it seems to be. And in this video, we're going to talk about the enduring watch industry and why they are now anxious about the future. Hi everyone, it's Megan. As always, don't forget to smash the like button below and subscribe to the content promoter. And now, let's get to it. Businesses throughout the economic spectrum have reported unprecedented levels of sales, and efforts to expand, like CD Peacock's $20 million plus building project, are being driven by growth, which is a strong indicator that the good times will last. There are, however, cautionary signs that suggest 2023 could not be completely crisis-free. The new, shall we say, trend of uncertainty in the luxury watch industry is being driven by average price tags of over $7,000 per piece. And as of the end of 2021, luxury watches like this were responsible for around 75% of the total value of Swiss watch exports. And now, the Federation of the Swiss Watch Industry reports that watch shipments have increased by 2.3% year over year. Moreover, it's undeniable that the current worldwide fixation on high-priced wristwatches is fresh, and many experts in the field of watches are also taken aback. However, there's an intriguing twist. The resale prices of the most sought-after contemporary timepieces, including the Rolex Daytona, Patek Philippe Nautilus, and Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, have plunged by as much as 50% since their January highs. And since its beginning in April, the market decline has frightened some investors. Uncertainty is the human race's greatest adversary, and now we face it. You see, an indicator that the primary market is beginning to cool down is when prices for Patek, Rolex, and Audemars classics fall to more affordable levels in the secondary market. Now, what do you think? Is this a positive or negative thing? It's safe to say things are not going as usual, and the microeconomic component is riddled with unpredictability. And despite the steadily increasing interest rate, President Biden continues to avoid discussing the state of the economy. There isn't anything to be excited about, but there also aren't any red flags, so it's hard to know which way to look. As a rule, seasoned watch industry observers have this sort of hesitancy. In March 2020, no one could have predicted that COVID-19 would bring in a period of exponential growth, and in 2021, Swiss watch exports reached a record high of 23.3 billion Swiss francs, or nearly $23 billion, according to the Federation of the Swiss Watch Industry's annual report. In comparison to 2019, this represents an increase of 2.7%, and this year has proven to be far better than last. The main question then becomes, why are Swiss watchmakers so anxious? According to the experts, most of the excitement over the past 2 years has come from speculators flush with stimulus money, cash, and cryptocurrency wealth. They contributed to the market frenzy by consistently paying 3 to 5 times the retail price on secondary channels for rare models. Nonetheless, the spending rush was broken up by the crypto market crash in May. In a phone conversation, Maximilian Busser, the founder and creative director of MBNF, a luxury watch boutique that snowballed during the pandemic, said everyone is running for safety. He said that they routinely moved between 90% and 115% of their output for many years before the pandemic. Now, Mr. Busser and other watch companies have to conduct background checks on all of their customers to ascertain whether or not they are true watch enthusiasts. or they simply want to make fast cash. Things are different and simpler now than they were back then. But the good news for most watchmakers is that the percentage of consumers making trips to stores to look for opportunities to spend money continues to decline. In addition, many members of the Swiss watch industry are worried about the polarization that divides the top-performing brands from everyone else. Moreover, they are less worried about the situation in Ukraine, increasing interest rates, double-digit inflation, or the possibility of a recession. Thankfully, young people are showing a growing interest in high-end watches produced in Switzerland. However, some people buy watches only to flip them for a profit on the secondary market. Many people have voiced their exasperation at the fact that they want these watches so much, yet can't manage to acquire them. Now, before we continue, I want you to think about our super thanks, wherein your comments will be highlighted, or you could also join our membership program. So now, why are all these things important? Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet, known as the Big Three, account for more than half of the industry's profits. Because of this, most of the rumors center on the most expensive products available from these manufacturers. This kind of frenzy has historically affected previously owned versions of various models. Nonetheless, this has never had such a dramatic impact on freshly released models of the same types. The watch industry is looking bleak for those that produce cheaper timepieces. And since the early 2000s, when there were 60 million shipments of watches, that figure has decreased to just 15 million in 2021. The increased popularity of non-Swiss fashion names like Guess, Puma, and Armani among younger consumers puts pressure on businesses that produce moderately priced timepieces under the Swiss-made label. Now, here's the deal. Luxury sales are crucial, but they aren't enough to keep the watch industry afloat. The need for economies of scale to recoup investment costs lead us to conclude that a solid industrial base is essential. The Swatch Group and Rolex are two examples of successful watchmaking firms that have the means to upgrade their manufacturing models. And to meet rising demand, several companies have increased their in-house manufacturing capabilities and acquired subcontractors in the mechanical movement and component industries during the past decade to meet growing demand. In turn, this gives labels greater power in the production process. Today, independent suppliers are hard for smaller businesses to obtain due to a lack of available subcontractors. Because of this, things have become considerably more complicated. The high-quality Swiss watch market directly results from the large number of highly educated people who find employment in the industry. To ensure this sector's sustained growth, it relies heavily on the efforts of its many self-employed professionals and small company owners. The Swiss watch industry is concerned about the mere monopoly held by a select few companies. Now, a flourishing market is a good news for independent watchmakers, even if they can only create a few dozen watches each year for wealthy enthusiasts. This is quite similar to cars. When cars start looking the same, consumers will value those that stand out all the more for their individuality. Wristwatches are in the same boat. Unique timepiece enthusiasts are the ones that push the industry forward. Consequently, while it is encouraging that a growing number of young people are showing an interest in Swiss watches, the question remains: will the Swiss watch industry still have hundreds of brands for these same people to select from when they become older purchasers in the next 10 years? Many experts in the field believe the answer to be negative. In fact, independent watchmakers are at risk due to Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet's mergers and rising dominance. There is not enough room for everybody, despite what many may think. There is plenty of room for everyone when the economy is doing well and money is flowing, but those days are long gone. We can only expect natural selection to increase in intensity over the next year or two. But one thing is certain: a mechanical watch cannot be compared to anything else. So, what are your thoughts on these? And are you a Swiss-made watch enthusiast? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And while you're at it, make sure to smash the like and subscribe buttons as well. Now, if you want to start knowing more about luxury watches, then make sure to click and watch this video right here and enjoy. And that's the end of this video, guys. See you next time.